For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thank you so much for tuning in on your favorite podcast app. My God, I hate saying that. It's so... And then I gotta do the remember to subscribe, remember to tell your friends, remember to leave a review. I don't. The fact that you're listening to this again, that's what matters. And I appreciate your attention. It's 30 minutes of time-wasting fun, as we like to say. And I enjoy hearing from you. I get your messages on social media. I get your emails. I love the back and forth that we have. Sometimes you agree with me. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes we share a laugh because we're both, we've both experienced the same thing, or we've, or we can make light of each other's situation and then bond over that. And I talked about that when I was going on that rant about customer service the other week. And I said, sometimes when you're waiting in line at a store and you're pissed off, and then the customer beside you or behind you or whatever is feeling the same way, and you kind of just start to laugh because you're both just ready to scream, but you can find the humor in it, and then it becomes, a little bit less tense at that point, right? So when it comes to small business stuff, a couple weeks ago I talked about, I think the show was called An Open Letter from Small Business Owners. And I talked about how one of our e-commerce stores, Happy Bulge Swim Company, had a very, very strange June, of all things Pride Month. And so as a gay business owner, I was kind of like, wow, that's sort of a slap in the face to be trying to scam my company during Pride Month. But what happened was, if you missed that episode, we had... probably about, I think it was almost a dozen, 14 people or so in a matter of like a week and a half come forward and say that they didn't get their orders. And so it ended up being this wild goose chase of trying to track down, looking at tracking numbers, even reviewing, I'm not shitting you, reviewing camera footage from apartment block or condominium surveillance cameras and Ring doorbell cameras from the neighbors. And the fact that we had to do that, when I told that story a couple weeks ago, and we had pre-taped our July episode, so we couldn't do this the next week, but after it aired, I had a lot of emails and conversations with people that also own small businesses, and they said, wow, I would never even thought to do that. And something that I did mention on that show is I said, the average business owner might just go and say, oh, I'm really sorry about this, let's refund it, or let's just send you another one, because they feel that's the right thing to do when it comes to customer service. And as I discovered in June, sometimes customers are very, very, less than truthful, I guess is the way to say it. And the vast majority, I need to underscore this, the vast majority of the customers that we have at our e-commerce stores are amazing. We have... great relationships with the people, and that's something that I'm going to talk about today, so I won't dive into that part now. But it's sad that you can have 99% of the great people, and that it makes your day when you hear from them, or they send a photo and of their product or whatever it is, and then they're happy about it, and then you get that 1% that is screwing with your money and lying to you, and that's actually kind of what. Yeah, the fun emails, the happy emails are great, but it's that nastiness, though, that just drags you down. I could be having the best day in the world. I'm not on the front lines with our e-commerce stores. Only things get escalated to me when, again, something like that happens. Somebody says, I didn't get it, it was destroyed, blah, 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 blah. It's escalated to me. And I could be having, the most fun time with, my dogs, my husband, whatever, whatever I'm doing. And all of a sudden I get that email and it just brings me down. So multiply that by however many times my employee is getting bombarded with those frontline messages, whether they be DMs on social media, emails, they're the ones handling it. And now, if you're in person working in a retail store, you're having the people in your face, and that's even worse. So when I told the story about the great lengths that we've gone to essentially bust people lying, and that's, it's strange to say that as a small business owner, right? Because when you start your store or your shop or your service, whatever it is that you're offering, you always say, oh, I'm going to treat my customers like gold. I'll bend over backwards for them. I'll do whatever I have to. And after a while, though, you're kind of like, but when they start taking advantage, you also have to remember that not everybody's doing that. So you can't paint everybody with the same brush, of course. But certainly, don't take things at face value. If they go and say, oh, I didn't get it. Okay, well, let's investigate this. In a roundabout way, you're not calling them a liar, but you're just saying, I need to do my own research. I can't just take your word for it and say, you didn't get it when the post office is confirming delivery, right? There's some questions that need to be asked of the postal service, of the building in which you live, things like that. And you're just doing your due diligence. You're just, we'll look into it, don't worry. And we're going to talk about how to have great customer service, because I've gone on enough rants about how customer service is lacking these days. So that's what the show is about today, is I'm talking to the small business owners. Here's some of the things that we do that we've had great success with that I want you to try. Now, if you own a swimwear store or a coffee line, stop listening to this because you're my competition and I don't want to talk to you. But maybe you can learn something in the long run. And I'm going to be talking about that on the Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here on the Scribble. Now, customer service, there's so many ways that you can tackle it. If you work at a big company, the customer service training is often thankful, right? Thank you so much for choosing our company. Thank you for calling. How may I? Oh, it would be my pleasure to assist you. I get those lines when I call, UPS or whatever, and you're just like, it just makes me want to throw up, right? It's not sincere. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. It rubs me the wrong way. Now, if they're genuinely meaning it, you can sort of tell if you've been on the phone with them for 45 minutes and they've helped you through something or whatever, then, you can have a joke with it and you have that rapport. And that's the big word. That's the word of the day, everybody, is rapport. Back when I was working in customer service and retail, I was generally in a managerial role, so I would be responsible for training new employees, whether that was to do, cashiers or the cash register or greeting people, right? Some places have a host at the front, so they'll welcome the people. And I always wanted them to be, it was a playful work environment. Like it was silly. Now, so when I was an assistant manager at a party store, well, duh, okay, that goes without saying. But with our Happy Bulge swim company, I mean, our logo is it's a cartoon, sort of a playful guy. So that's something that just the tone right there, the name of the company, what the logo looks like. We launched at Pride 5 years ago. And then when you see the products, they're colorful, they're playful patterns, it's silly, fun stuff. So that's going to have to translate to your social media, right? I understand Walmart not being silly and having their social media people post, silly things or be very, very playful in DMs. I get that because that, could be taken the wrong way. And that's just not their brand, right? Everybody's so quick to throw around the word brand. That's our brand. A brand takes some time to develop, all right? Just because you have certain colors in your color scheme, that's not the color of your brand. It's not a brand just yet. It takes some time to establish a brand. We now have them with our companies because it's more than just what our logo and our color scheme are. Our brand is the entire package. That's the way that we post things on social media. It's the way that we word things in those posts. It's the interactions that you have with our people on those DMs. And they all have to be consistent. So is there a style guide, or do we do 2 exclamation marks when we emphasize something? Do we have improper capitalization? Never. As I'm a writer, I'll never allow that. There's certain way that we word things. There's certain way that, photos or pictures are posted on Instagram. There's ways that you message when somebody even just writes, even if they just message like, hey, or I've got a question about a product. Your response is hello with like 10 O's. That's the reply because it's playful, it's fun, it's not, hello, how can I help you? No, that's not how we do it. We're not doing it that way. So another thing that we do with that customer service, and again, like I said, with something like Walmart, I just realized that it's not possible to do that because you've got more than one person jumping in from different locations or whatever it is, and they're using these social media apps where it's all just coming into one program and it's logging things. So when we have our person doing social media, it's just them. They're the ones posting the pictures. They are the ones responding to messages. They are receiving the emails at the same time. It's just them. And it's usually just one person for a weekend. It might even be a weekend takeover. But that person is usually identified with a name. So it's the picture of that person. And if we're doing giveaway weekend, which I'll talk about in a second, your giveaway weekend giver is Nelson or Kyle or Jason or Chris or whoever it happens to be. So you're putting that name to that face. So the people are now going to message Jason or Chris, whoever it is. And they feel like, okay, this is the person that I'm messaging. It's not some random anonymous person. They are putting the name to the face. And if we're doing giveaway weekend, Chris is going to be sliding into your DMs, wait for Chris's message. So it's a little bit less spammy than at that point too, right? Because people see it. But it's just, it's playful, it's fun because they think that Chris is hot. And so now Chris is messaging them. Sure, he's selling them something because that's the point of the job, but it doesn't come across that way because it's playful and it's fun. And so when we do giveaway weekend, where new followers are often picked to win something. It could be a gift card, it could be whatever. There's so many just different things, and it's random, and it's for people that follow you, by the way. So it's people who have heard of you. You're not just randomly messaging Ben McGrath or Tim Smith or Chris DeLuca. I'm just making up names because that is spamming. These are like, I've never heard of this fucking company. Leave me alone. You're messaging your followers, and it's a nice welcome. So we don't do it right away. So it's not like you message and then 5 minutes later, oh, you just want, that's scammy. But it was maybe somebody that followed on the Monday, and now that it's giveaway weekend, they've had a couple days to see the content and the playful and the vibe that we're giving off. And now it's like, okay, now you were picked to win a gift card. So that's what we do. And you'd be surprised. I mean, it sounds corny that like people would get excited over a $10 gift card. And maybe some people are just doing that so that they don't seem like they're, that they're not appreciative. But people will genuinely say like, oh my God, I never won anything. Oh, this made my weekend. Oh my God, thank you so much. And then they will go and shop within 5-10 minutes. And like I said, at the end of the day, that's the purpose. That's the point of doing this. But it makes them feel good. It's a surprise to them because they're not expecting it. Sometimes they don't even know that it's giveaway weekend, so they're kind of like, what the fuck? And it's that playful interaction. It's having a good time. And so when that's now their first impression of your company and your business, then what happens, here's the thing. So we're not done there. So you've got that rapport. You just had a great, nice welcome for them, new follower. You gave them a $10 gift card, which they still ended up having to pay $30 or $35 for that swimsuit, in our case, that they are now excited to wear that swimsuit when it comes. So they will be watching and they'll be checking to see when it's being delivered. It's coming tomorrow. They will even message and go, it's being delivered tomorrow. That excitement is so fun. Right? I remember back in the day when I had to order from the Sears catalog or, whatever the company was, the mail order company, you had no idea when it would be coming. You would just be waiting because maybe that call is going to come today and you're going to go to the Radio Shack and pick it up or the Sears outlet and pick it up. You had no idea. You might get an estimated date, but you just didn't know. Now people are neurotically checking their shipping information to see like, oh my God, and that's great. I appreciate your excitement for the product. And they will message and say like, it's coming tomorrow. And then as soon as they get it, they will take photos of the item and lay it out on their counter or on their bed or whatever. Then they'll go into the bathroom and do a mirror selfie and send you pictures of themselves wearing the product. And hey, it's men in underwear. I'll take it. Why not? And my husband's part of the company, so we're not doing anything bad. And these are people willingly sending pictures of themselves because they love doing it. Gay men love showing off. So why not? And they're excited and they're tagging and they're giving free shout outs. And that's great because that's the best testimonial you can have, right? You can read these reviews and go, no, this was just a bitter customer. Oh, this, they had the product wasn't exactly to their liking. So they're going to give you 1 star to drop your rating. We don't have any sort of reviews on Facebook or the website or anything like that, because we rely on people doing that on social media. They are willingly just posting their excitement and showing off the product for us. We don't deal with influencers. There are so many people that will message, email, whatever, and basically just ask for something free, which is ballsy. Hey, I'm a cheapskate. My best-selling book was about saving money and being a cheapskate. When I was on the radio and had 300,000 listeners, yeah, maybe we kind of did that to get free stuff or whatever. But I also had a very big audience at the time. This was before everybody had a podcast, let me be clear. But it was worth their while to do that. And they would also pay us to do an advertising thing for it as well. So we made it a business. But if I happened to want the new pet vacuum from such and such company, yeah, we'd reach out to their marketing team and then we'd go and say, look, let's do a crossover on our radio show. I just got a new dog, or our host got a new dog. Let's do a shout out, send the product. We'll do a giveaway as well. And you guys can pay for the advertising. And that's what we would do. And so we have a policy with our stores that if somebody just out of nowhere messages and says, send me something, I'll model it and whatever, we will offer them a gift card, or we might even offer them buy one, get one free. But we will never just send out something free, especially because somebody asks. You could have 1 million followers and have a lot of engagement and whatever on your social media pages. I need you to support my company first. Because at the end of the day, you might make it seem like you're doing me the favor and you're giving me the exposure and I'm also giving you something that you're going to be wearing on the beach that's going to be helping build your, back to that word, brand. So yeah, you're going to give me the shout out because you got that red swimsuit from my company, but you're also going to be wearing this yourself. So you need to give me some money if you're wanting me to use my money for you, right? Like it's got to go both ways. And that's how I view it. Now, like I said, there's people who just strictly deal with influencers and have no problem handing. But what I found is, especially with the gays, that somebody's going to find out that, oh, I got this free from that company, and now you're going to have... And so how do you then go and say to somebody, well, you don't have a big enough audience? I mean, you can easily. I mean, we had that with the radio show all the time, but we just had a policy from the very beginning. No freebies. We'll offer a gift card. We'll offer buy one, get one free. So you still need to buy one and we'll give you one free, but you need to give us some money first. And I think that if you put your foot down, if you come up with a roundabout solution you can have a discount on it, but we're not just because you messaged and said, hey, I look good in a swimsuit, send me one. And actually, it's a good thing that I'm not on the front lines, because I would probably tell the person off. I would tell them off. And actually, we did that during Pride, where we had somebody there were a couple people that just did that. And somebody had said, how about you send me a swimsuit and I tag you in posts? And when I saw that, the screenshot was sent to me, and I said, this is what you're going to reply. How about you support a small business during gay pride and, da-da-da-da-da? Because you were probably giving money to Absolute or the beer companies or whatever it was that are not gay-owned businesses during Pride, but they pander to the audience and get the money anyway because they stick a flag on their logo this month. How about you shell out some money to that small gay business and, you be a customer? Because at the end of the day, like I said, those happy customers are already giving you shout outs for free because they loved the experience they had. They're happy with their purchase. So I don't need to be giving out free product because I've got people who are willing to give me money and give me the free advertising on their pages. And that's why our return customer rate, I'm not talking return product rate, let me be clear. I'm talking about returning customers, they will order again, is I believe in the 60% the last time I saw. I haven't looked in the last couple weeks, but my accountant had told me that it was at like 62% of a returning customer rate. Pretty fucking good, by the way, if I can pat myself on the back, because we have that rapport. We have that, there's that mood, there's that vibe, there's that name recognition. Like I said, people are writing to Chris, they're writing to Jason, they're writing to whoever. They will sometimes even offer to buy the swimsuit off of the model, which, hey, whatever, we've sold those too. That's the best testimonial. That's the best kind of relationship you want to have with your customer. Now, is it possible for Amazon to have that? No, absolutely not. Because of the number of staff, just the sheer volume but when you're a small business and you're only doing, maybe you only have 50 orders a month or 30 orders a month or 20 orders a month or 100. If you've had those interactions with the people on Facebook, you might not remember, or Instagram, you might not remember where they're from in every little detail, but it'll jog your memory when all of a sudden you get this message and it's like, oh, so-and-so sent you 4 pictures. You can scroll back at the conversation and go, oh, okay, I remember that. Oh, and they're very excited to touch base with Chris and say, hey, look, these were the great recommendations that you gave to me or you made for me. And I ended up buying 4 of them or 6 different styles or whatever it was because there were so many options. So there are times when my accountant will say to me after weekend, how many gift cards did they give away? And I'm like, did we make money on the weekend? And she says, yep. I'm like, well, there you go. It's fine. We profited. We're good. Like I said, we don't spend 1 penny on advertising. So we will not pay somebody to wear the product. We will not go to our expense to buy a product and send it to you in the mail. We don't do that. We don't do Facebook ads. We don't do any we do email blasts, but we don't do any Google ads. We don't do nothing like that. Nothing. So you could ask a small business owner, well, don't you think you could increase sales by such and such X by doing that? Yeah. But you have to remember though, and like I said before, I retired when I was 39 years old. So 3 years ago now. This is just, if our little funny, silly store can pull in 6 figures without paying any advertising or doing anything like that, then why not keep it as a little bit of a hobby to make some extra money when I already, I'm retired and it's just something fun that we do. My husband and I have a really good time picking out the products and kind of figuring things out. We have a good time with it. We have a great time with the coffee guys, in West Hollywood, where we have our team of they're basically frat boys, I call them. And so that's the same thing with the coffee company is a premium coffee line. So we don't do as many giveaways and discounts and things like that, but it's more of a silly, playful vibe where the audience No. Oh, and another one quick thing, by the way, we don't call them customers, we call them friends. So you're friends of Happy Bulge Swim Company. It's Friend Friday when we post the pictures that you send in. It's not Customer Appreciation Day. No. Every Friday, every fucking Friday, every week is Friend Friday when people send in pictures. Now, as long as they abide by the, meta rules of decency in terms of, nudity or whatever, you'll get posted. At one point, there was, I think, a 7-week waiting list for people to be posted, because that's how many people were sending in photos that we didn't even have enough. We weren't going to post every 10 minutes because then it sort of gets mixed in the, you're washed out at that point. So we might have 3 or 4 posts every Friday, and this is your time to shine. And this is where you get a shout out on our page. This is you rocking it. You get a good feeling because people are commenting. They like your photos. We will always delete anything that's negative about somebody's photo. That's just, we don't allow bullying. If somebody goes and says, oh, no real bulge, oh, you need to wax, whatever, we delete it. It's gone. We don't allow that. I know that's a big debate about, well, do you hide people's comments? Yeah, our thing is we don't do that here. And I will even say that. I've even jumped on and replied, and I will post the screenshot of the reply going, we don't do that here. That is not how we're talking to people. Not happening on my watch. And we'll delete it or we'll block them or whatever it is. We do have that control. We will always do that. Because why would you're going to feel good about sending in a picture, you get posted, then you're going to read all these people trashing you? Like, that's just not cool. So and it doesn't happen often. Let me be clear on that. It's not that, we're not, no, but you'll get maybe one nasty comment, but otherwise people are liking it because it's that sense of community. That's everybody's included. Everybody's involved. Whether you're old, young, fat, skinny, white, black, whatever, you send in a picture, as long as it follows the standards of Meta, and it shows who you are. That's another thing. We don't just do an anonymous torso or crotch shot. It has to show your face. You'll get posted. It might take a while to get posted, but you'll get posted. With our coffee guys, I was just about to say that there are storylines because so-and-so is taking a trip and people are waiting to kind of hear how that trip was, or there was a nest of baby rabbits in the backyard in West Hollywood at one point. So we had the bunny cam. So we were showing pictures of what was happening with the rabbits, or, one of the guys was in Brazil visiting his family. He's from Brazil, just like my husband. So he was in Brazil shooting a fitness TV show that we had produced. And so, we were posting updates from that, and people were messaging, asking how he is, what's going on with him. And that's what you want. Like, you want your people to be, I don't necessarily want to say on a first name basis, because if I were to put a post on Instagram right now and say, does everybody know the owner's name? Most of them would say no, because we haven't made ourselves the star, me as the owner or my husband as the owner. I'm trying to think. I would say less than 2% of them would know our 2 names. They might know me because it's mentioned that I'm on the radio or that I'm in the newspaper or whatever. So I think some of the people have like found me or done the math and figured out who I am, but I am not the star. I am not. And when she's a former friend, I haven't talked to her in a while, but she had started her own e-commerce store, and she very quickly made it about herself. There was an about me page. There were these glam shots of her. She's philanthropic. I had known her for several years. She was all about herself. I don't know that I'd ever heard about her donating to charity ever. So, you kind of look at this and go, but you were making it all about you. You were the star of the business. And like I said from the very beginning, this was not about me. There's no about me page. There's not me and my husband cuddled up and talking about how our inspiration was this or that. The star is, first of all, the product, because that's what people are buying. It's not this love story. It's not that, he's from Brazil and I'm from Canada and this and that. No. It's not, and we celebrate customers every Friday. It's not Customer Appreciation Week once a year. It's fucking Friend Friday every goddamn week, because that's the environment that we've built for these people. They are excited to show off. They're happy with their purchase, and we want to share that. That's what this is all about. It's not about us just blasting corporate messages at you and sell. At the end of the day, it is. But everybody's having a good time in the underwear or the swimwear, and we're showing it off. If that leads to sales, which that's at the end of the day the ultimate purpose, but it's not rammed down your throat. I was going to take that somewhere else, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it clean today. So that's my advice to you, small business owners, is find ways to have the silly, playful thing. If you're a social media manager for a company, and it's not a super big company where you can kind of get away with things, have that playful tone. See if there's a way that you can kind of carry that over into your, not only just the messaging in terms of the way you write posts, but in the way people, I can't stand seeing the corporate marketing posts on social media and then seeing god-awful English and grammar when I'm messaging a company. That doesn't add up. It's not the same. It's not consistent. I know that messaging in that post was done by a completely different department than the person who's sitting on a laptop at home, working from home, or in a call center, whatever. It's not speaking to me the same way. And I don't like that. So this way, if you message and you see that the post is worded this way on Happy Bulge, that's how you're going to be written to or whatever, communicated with on the messaging or on your emails or whatever it is. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same playful. It's not going to be thank you so much for your business. We appreciate it. No, it's going to be thank you, and the word you is going to be all caps. It's going to have 2 exclamation marks. It's going to be done a certain way. So it might take a bit of time for people to come up with a style guide, and maybe that's just because I'm a writer and I've worked at corporations where you've had to come up with a brand style guide with the way the logo is presented, and it can't be this and it has to be this color. And a style guide is very important if you're going to be posting words, because I don't want to look at the word standby as one word this post and then it's 2 words in the next post. Or it's capitalized here, but it's not capitalized there. Stuff like that, me being the anal writer that I am, drives me insane. I don't want to see that. This way, if your team is all on board, they all know the same way to greet somebody, they all know the way to finalize when somebody says, I just made the purchase. Or when they send 4 photos of themselves in underwear. It's bulge time. There's a way to respond. Now, they each have their own personality, so I'm not saying that we give them their personality. Their personality comes through with the silly shots that they post of themselves, that are posted of them, and the way they do their customer service. But there's still that line where you need to write things this way. That might not be how you, Kyle, would write something to a friend on social media, but you have a playful personality because that's why you're here. So for the purposes of this and you being on Instagram for the next 10 hours today, that's how you're going to have to kind of, and you can't be uptight and you know, when you're running around in underwear in a hotel room. Like, it's just, you have to be silly. There's no way to take you seriously when you're doing that, right? So if you're a small business owner, I want to know some of the things that you do in terms of customer service. Everybody talks about how you can send a thank you card, or you have like nice packaging or whatever. That might work depending on what it is that you ship or what you sell. For Happy Bulge, it's an envelope. People just want to rip that open and get their underwear. So we're not going to the expense of fancy packaging and a bow and all this other stuff. No, we're not doing that because that's going to cost you more. And maybe you pass that cost on to your customer. So if you can recoup that, then fine. But you can use that money elsewhere. Like I said, we don't spend a penny on advertising so that we can do more giveaways and have more fun stuff. So you weigh out your options. Do you want to spend money on advertising and just have a very corporate relationship with your customers? Or do you want to have silly fun where, and there's nothing wrong with them even messaging and going, hey, any sales going on? At the end of the day, I would say 99% of the time, if somebody messages one of my stores and just asks any sales or anything you guys are clearing out, we'll offer you something. We're not going to give it to you free. But actually, you know what? Would you want a $10 gift card? Or how about these ones? What do you think of this? Great, we'll do $10 off. Hey, we'll do buy one, get one free then if you want. Just by asking. Right? So send me an email. Tell me what you do for customer service. What kind of a relationship do you have with your customer? live@jbonair.com is the email address. I'm laughing because we're already out of time. Do I have to wrap this up now? My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Give me a shout. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye, everybody.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up The Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com. Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your